welcome to our third crossover here on Beyond the Trailer with Agent of Style. Now, you guys have really been enjoying these episodes, and I've been enjoying them as well. Have you been enjoying them?
I have.
Yes, excellent. So we're back again, but for you, those of you who haven't seen a crossover with Agent of Style, why don't you tell them what you do?
Basically, I do a column called Agent of Style on Newsarama.com where I talk about the evolution of the design and costumes of different heroes and villains and similar characters like that.
Excellent. And for those of you new to Beyond the Trailer, this is a movie news and reviews show and also costume analysis. So what are we talking about today, Alan?
We're talking about the Avengers movie.
Oh.
Specifically, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye.
Yes, like a whole bunch of pictures just like spewed out onto the internet these days.
A lot of on-set photos. So let's take a look at Black Widow. Actually,
Okay, I like this costume.
I think it's kind of fun. The only thing that's really throwing me off is you've got two belts happening.
Yes.
For no apparent reason. I mean, the utility belt, the lower belt, I get. That's got tools on it. Obviously, it has a purpose. The upper belt, it's just there to have the Black Widow symbol.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense with a costume that's kind of a onesie anyway.
It's branding.
It's just there for design, and especially when you already have symbols on her shoulders, I don't think you really need it. I
She's on the clock.
Exactly. This Avengers team seems to be part of S.H.I.E.L.D. in some way, so that makes sense.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like she and Hawkeye, like, does that make them lesser Avengers because they're like, I work for the company. I work for the man.
Maybe by the end of the movie, they'll leave S.H.I.E.L.D. Who knows?
I think it's interesting. Can a female character like not have a all black uniform? You know, you've got Trinity, Catwoman, Black Widow. They all kind of have the same look.
Right.
I think it'd be good to mix it up a little bit, maybe
Sure.
sometimes with some color.
No, I would absolutely be down with that.
But I like the haircut quite a bit.
No, I mean, and she looks good in the outfit.
Yeah, I think this is a good costume. I think Marvel does a really good job with their female characters so far. I haven't seen this movie yet, but I think this looks cool. Can I just say that the photo of them running into action has me seriously, it's just so exciting. It's like torn out of a comic book.
It's really cool. The
Yeah.
poses are there. And Hawkeye's costume has a similar feel to it, which again makes sense because they're both S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. He's got a design element where he's got this purple arrowhead
Yes.
going down his shirt. But beyond that, it's just a utilitarian jumpsuit.
Well, I gotta say, this is a hard one to pull off because who fires a bow and arrow anymore?
Right.
You know, it's hard to make that look cool. It's such an odd weapon of choice.
It's one of those things where in the comics we get used to it, especially because Hawkeye has like grenade arrows and sonic concussion arrows.
Big goo arrows.
Exactly. You know, is he going to have that in the movie, or is it just going to be normal arrows? It'll be
That's
interesting
very
to see what
true.
they do.
Yeah, and also, well, that's a really good point. And also in the comic book, it's like the endless, it's like he has Mary Poppins bayonet thing on his back. He's like bottomless well of arrows.
Yeah, very rarely does he run out.
Yeah, and so, but in a movie, I mean, I don't know if movie audiences will get that.
But I mean, I think they did a really good job with the costume. Considering his costume is mostly purple in the comics, there are a lot of ways they could have screwed this up. They've kept the purple as an element, but it's not the dominant factor.
Well, the other interesting thing is that I think that, it's clearly Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
This is not a lot of, there's not like Jeremy Renner with different color hair.
Right.
Jeremy Renner with, glasses.
Right.
And he's in so many movies these days. He's going to be the new Bourne.
Yeah, he's definitely been an up-and-coming star the past couple years.
But my question is, how do they differentiate Hawkeye from Bourne? I think that's where you start to run into trouble with this kind of casting.
Probably Hawkeye will just be sassier. And more of a jerk.
Yes, I have read his comic. But also in the comic, Hawkeye seems to be more in charge.
Right.
So I wonder if that's going to carry over into this costume.
I really would love to see him argue with Cap and Iron Man about who's in charge in the movie the way that he does in the comic.
Although
I really hope they bring that in.
Do you think that he and Black Widow are contracted to run next to each other all the time? They're like the S.H.I.E.L.D. twins.
It's very possible. They might be there almost as babysitters for the rest of these colorful weirdos.
They're like, let's hang back and let them do their
and speaking
stuff.
of colorful weirdos.
He so looks like that, yeah.
So we've got Captain America here in a different costume than what was in Captain America the First Avengers, which was a very utilitarian outfit first.
What I liked.
And here it is more of a costume.
Well, here's my thing. If Black Widow and Hawkeye aren't worried about their heads, I don't know why Cap is. It's like he's the only one. He's like, he didn't get the memo. He's like,
right.
we're all going to wear helmets, right, guys?
I mean, it's one of those things where I kind of accept it just because in the comics, like, Cap wears a mask. The same way that, in the X-Men, in the comics, Wolverine wears a mask, usually.
I think they could have changed it,
They
to be
could have
honest.
changed it for this. I'm not as weirded out by the mask is the fact of the kind of mask they're using. It
Oh,
looks
totally.
kind of like an old football helmet from the 30s.
Well, not only that, but you see it's like fabric on the side. It's gapping in this photo.
Right. It's a little
it's-
funky. I
It's
think,
gapping. It's poorly made.
I mean, the old Captain America, the first Avenger World War II suit, looked a little bit like body armor. This
Yeah.
doesn't look like that to me. This just looks like a costume. It's also a little too bright for me. I like Captain America in a slightly darker saturation.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's very like a kids movie.
Right.
Color scheme. Also, you and I were talking about that his body type has changed.
He looks more svelte here. He looks
Yeah.
more like a football player,
Like a
not-
running back, yeah.
right, like a running back, not so much a quarterback. So it's looking like a slimmer Captain America than the World War II version that came off as kind of a bodybuilder type guy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, like, Cap has an uphill battle ahead of him.
Yeah.
He's on a team with Thor and Iron Man, who are both very charismatic and have great costumes. And I feel it's going to be tough for him. I hope you've enjoyed this latest crossover with Agent of Style. To check out our previous episodes, you can click here and here. Also, click here to watch Agent of Style talk comic book fashion with none other than Tim Gunn. And I hope you'll subscribe. Thanks for watching.